right, Jonathan, what do we have in store today?
All right, we have some history to go over.
What?
We are covering May 3rd through the 9th. And the first one, on May 3rd, Dell was founded
Michael Dell.
for Dell Computer Corporation.
I wonder where the last name Dell came from. What's the origins of the last name Dell? I'm curious. Origin of the name Dell. It's Old English word Dell. Its feminine form, popular in the early 20th, is Della. Small valley or glen.
All right.
So he came from the valley. Glen. I mean, if you think about it, our last names kind of talk about our history or our ancestry, basically. So, like our last name, Campos. Do you know what it means in Spanish?
Yeah, it's like a field or like
Yeah, fields. It's essentially that's what it means. It's fields. So if you ever want to rename your if you ever want to change your last name and keep it the same, just call yourself Jonathan Fields. And it would be the same. All you did was translate it to English. So it's kind of interesting, these last names, where they come from. It's like they have this technology ring to it, but here it's it's a hillside or a glen, Interesting how something so rural, a rural name, is embedded in a technology known company.
Yeah.
That's like, that's pretty ironic, I want to say. Maybe. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's cool. I love Dell. Dell, I don't love Michael Dell. I like his computers. I really like
some pretty good computers.
Yeah, his computers, man. The whole the engineering behind it. Not only do they look sexy, they're so freaking easy to work with. You don't even need tools. Everything is hand, clips and big big heads on the screws and bolt and stuff that you just go and just twist them off with your hands. And so it's kind of cool. It's like there's snap-ins and stuff, so you just gotta like press the clips and pull stuff out. Yeah, and then the colors, all that stuff. You ever walk into a data center filled with Dell computers? I mean, it looks really cool. Super rich. So
cool.
That's cool. All right.
On May 4th, we have Love Stinks. What does that mean?
Email has been the best way to spread viruses. And thank goodness for, servers like Gmail and stuff, where they actually filter a lot of these viruses out. They go in, there is no human looking at your email, but there is a computer that is constantly checking your emails for any type of virus, anything malicious. And they just even prevent it from reaching your inbox. And so, but back then they didn't have anything. So
yeah, people were just clicking away.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't really hear about computer viruses going through email anymore. Like mainly just scams.
You're absolutely right. But you know what you do here is phishing. Phishing attacks are the biggest thing. The Prince of Siberia is always opening up a bank account with millions of dollars that he needs to send to your bank account. And you need to give him your bank account so he can deposit directly in there. So, but the phishing is a big thing nowadays. But yeah, viruses are almost, I want to say, non-existent. So, cool.
Yeah. Next, we have On May 5th, first American in space.
1961. 15-minute suborbital flight above the Mercury capsule Freedom 7. He reaches the altitude of 115 miles and he experienced 5 minutes of weightlessness. That's crazy.
He was only up there in space for 15 minutes, though.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You think he's a flat Earth? What do they call flat earthers or whatever?
Yeah.
What are they called?
That's what they're called, flat earthers.
Flat earthers. You think he's part of that society, or
Maybe.
you think he kind of turned in his membership as like, no, dude, it's round.
I was up there for 15 minutes.
I saw the curvature. It's not flat. Oh man. What else do we got?
Also, we have Wolfenstein 3D Blast into Scene.
Did you ever play this game?
I didn't play this one, but I know of it. And then also there was Doom. That was kind of like this one.
Yeah. I actually played this one.
This was the first 3D game.
Yeah. You can tell it's 3D. What was interesting about this one is that you had to have had a video card that had advanced like video graphics. And the thing is that your cheapest video card today is about 1,000 times better than the best video card back in 1992. You know, and for them to be able to produce like these 3D imaging was it took a lot of math in order to be able to do this. But if you didn't have one of the hot video cards, like you couldn't play it. You just couldn't do it. But yeah, I remember playing this game. It's kind of cool. Wolfenstein and Doom also. I remember playing Doom.
All right, next on May 6th, we have I is for Apple.
Do you remember these machines?
Yeah, we used to have them in school all the time. They loaded us up with these things.
Yeah. You know, Steve Jobs was pretty smart about future business. And so one of the things that he did was that he gave the schools free computers, or at a really affordable price. And by putting them in the schools, by the time those people got to college, guess what kind of computer they were going to want to buy?
Yeah, they wanted Apples and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so I grew up on Windows, so I wasn't big into Mac, but now that I can afford a Mac, I prefer Mac hardware over any Windows, especially when it comes to laptops. There's no way that you would have to spend the same amount of money that you spend for a Mac in order to get anything comparable to a Mac, especially when it comes to like the graphics accelerators. You know, those are the big ones right there. But yeah, it was pretty smart what they did. You know, it's like if all you learn is how to work computers on a Mac, then yeah, people are just gonna go.
They have their own like operating system too. So like if you're comfortable with using Apple, then like you're probably just gonna stick with it.
And you know, the operating system that Mac runs on is kind of like a Unix or Linux base. It's called BSD. I don't know if it's like you can take their code and create something of your own, or they created some kind of an agreement with FreeBSD, but essentially it's very close to Linux with some differences. I think what they did is like they took the best part of Linux and probably the best part of Unix, and they put it into this BSD. And BSD basically stands for Berkeley Software Development, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. This is what the operating system at Apple is based on. It's based on. In fact, let's verify that. What is the Mac OS based on? Oh, it's based on Darwin. It's an open source available standalone operating. Although Darwin will run many Unix applications, including X Windows, it does not have the Mac OS X interface. What is Darwin based on? There we go. So I wasn't far off. Darwin is an open source Unix-like operating system released by Apple. It composed code derived from NextStep, BSD, and Mach. Developed over at Carnegie Mellon.
Cool.
So yeah, so I wasn't far off. It was definitely pretty close to what I thought. So, cool. What else do we got?
Next, on May 7th, we have IBM 704 introduced.
Yeah, this is a computer right here. This is one computer.
One computer. Wow. There's not a lot of buttons on there. It's just
there's a monitor.
one screen for it.
One screen, that's the main processing. I think these are the tapes before hard drives.
Oh, wow.
And then I think, no, maybe that's just a desk. Maybe this is the main processor.
That's pretty crazy. In 1954, that's how computers were going.
Yeah, they were ran off tape. That was their storage medium. And it ran Fortran and Lisp. You know what we should do? We should do a Hello World in C#, and then we should learn how to do Hello World in Fortran and see what it would take to replicate that. Which means we would have to find the Fortran compiler that runs on Windows or Linux. We have Linux, so we can run it on Linux or on Mac, whichever. And then and be able to do that and see what like the big technology difference is. We should do an episode. We should put that down on the list. What else do we got?
Next, we have on May 8th, Germans can be so dry. They made a cell battery.
A dry cell battery.
Wow. German scientists.
You know what I felt when you were in junior high and I was looking at the choice of classes that you can take, I thought, wow, they took so much away from like what kids in junior high, you know, or at least boys, you know, in junior high really enjoy it. When I was in junior high, I had the opportunity to take an elective to learn electricity.
Oh, wow.
It was cool. Electric. And I think it was like called, oh man, what was it called? Electric? I think it was called electric. Yeah, it was just called electric class. And I also had the opportunity to work at the metal class and learn about melting metal and creating casts and stuff like that. You know, like molded cast, statues and stuff like that. I also got to do the woodworking shop where you would, you know, work with wood and, you know, sand it down and make some kind of plaque or, you know, something or other. And then, but those three right there were really cool because one of the first things that we learned about was a battery. And if you take a lemon and you put two different types of metals into that lemon, the two types of metals, say for example, you take copper and zinc, you stick it into the lemon and those two metals react with the acids of the lemon and produce 1.5 volts.
That's cool.
It's freaking neat. And so 1.5 volts, right? That kind of led us into, when I went to high school, it led us into me taking auto shop. So when they were talking about all these different pieces of the automobile, right, specifically the battery, they were talking about the cells in the battery.
Mhm.
And so they were talking about how many cells does it take to make 12 volts. And I knew the answer right off the top of my, well, not right off the top of my head. I had to do a little bit of math, right? So you would take 12 divided by 1.5, and that would give you the number of cells, because every cell gives you 1.5 volts.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you got 1.5, 3, 6, 8 cells give you 12 volts.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So there's 8 cells in a battery. And what happens is that they have these 2 metals. Every cell has 2 metals, 2 different types of metals. And they run them in series so that when you connect from pole to pole, you get 12 volts out of those poles in the battery. So it was kind of cool to grow up in the school system that actually like allowed you to take these electives that taught you like a lot of, I mean, you didn't know that a battery produces 1.5 volts, right?
No.
Out of one, so you have a D battery, you have a C battery, you have A, AA, AAA. All of those right there produce 1.5 volts each because it's one cell.
Mhm.
In order for you to be able to get 6 volts, you have to have 4 batteries. So that gives you 6 volts. So you know that that whatever you're running runs on 6 volts. And these are things that like nowadays you don't really think about, because they just say, yeah, just put 4 batteries in there, you'll be fine. That's what it runs, right?
Yeah.
But you always wonder, is like, why not 5? Why not 6 batteries? If 4 is good, would 6 be better?
Mhm.
And no, it won't, because at that point you're putting too much voltage through the electrical system. It's just going to burn whatever you're trying to run because it's too much volts,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's kind of cool to learn about the history of this and then
Pretty
be able to
cool.
talk to you about it. It's like, yeah, it's kind of sad that you didn't get to take the electric class in junior high. So I guess the school district didn't feel it was important anymore.
Yep. They're just like, yep, just put 4 batteries in there.
That's all you need to know. You don't need to know why.
All right. Next, we have on May 9th, Linux gets Happy Feet.
The Happy Feet. Why do you think they chose the penguin?
I don't know. That's such a weird choice. It's like Linux is known for the penguin too now. Like,
it's actually known for, I think they named them Tux because it looks like he's got a tuxedo.
yeah, tuxedo.
So Tux is a penguin character and the official brand character of the Linux kernel.
Interesting. Yeah, why? That's so weird. Why'd they choose the penguin?
Well, he could have chosen the warbler. You know what that is?
Warbler? No.
It's a bird.
Oh, okay.
So he probably looked at these two. I wonder what the logo looked for this. I mean, some kind of warbler. Let's look at images. See if somebody has a cartoon image of it. Oh, okay. So I guess he looked at something like this, I want to say, maybe one of these. And he thought, yeah, no, I'll take the penguin. It was free.
It was pretty cool, yeah.
But I think I think the penguin definitely gives it a better logo. So cool.
Yeah, that's all we have for tech history.
All right. All right, we'll leave tux as the highlight to the end of this segment.